Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Nanmu Smart Series Alpha Eternal Empress of Origins. Now, Nanmu is a company that has been around for a little bit now. Nanmu has always made like these Jurassic Park-esque like dinosaur figures, but they weren't like officially licensed by Universal, they were just very heavily inspired by the dinosaurs of Jurassic Park and some also, like, unreleased, like, figures. They did a figure that was based off of the Ultimasaurus from the Kenner Chaos Effect line, which is really cool. But recently, they started to make more articulated figures. And I think it started with I forget what they're called, but they made two figures, two variants, based off of the V-Rex from Peter Jackson's King Kong. And now they have made a T-Rex figure, or they made two. There's this figure, and then there's one based off of the Bull T-Rex from the Lost World. These very Jurassic Park-esque like T-Rex figures that are articulated. And I was really interested. A lot of people have been talking about them, and I was willing to, buy one. I went with the brown one because, Jurassic Park is my favorite movie of all time, and I just prefer that brown T-Rex. I love the Bull T-Rex, don't get me wrong, but for me, I will always love the brown T-Rex, but I digress. But yeah, I decided to buy one of these articulated T-Rex figures that everyone's been talking about, and just check out what the hubbub is all about. So, without further ado, let's just get right into this. Like usual, to start, we'll take a look at the paint, and the painting on this figure, the painting on this figure, let's take a closer look. So, as you can see, most of this figure is this really nice brown coloration. And like on the snout here, back of the neck, all the way to the tail here, we have these nice dark stripes here that just look really nice. And even some like spots on the thigh here, which looks really nice here. I really like how this looks. I love all of, like the little like bits of painting here. There's a lot going on here, and I'm really into it. This is really cool. The underside of the figure is going to be this tan coloration, and all of like the scales and all of, like the wrinkles and everything are going to have like paint in between, which just makes the detailing here pop, and it just looks great, but more on the detailing later. The nails on this figure, both the toenails and the fingernails, are going to be painted this black coloration, which I think looks nice. Going to the head here, we can see that the eyes are going to be painted this nice yellowish greenish coloration, which again I think looks really nice. The inside of the mouth here is going to be painted this nice pink coloration with some really nice like glossy finish here. I think it just looks really nice inside of the mouth here. And the teeth on this figure, this is not a jab at other like companies that I've talked about in the past, so nothing against Creative Bee Studio, nothing against like Papo. I reviewed them in the past, and even like Bandai with their SH Monster Arts line. This is not a jab at those companies whatsoever, but the teeth on this figure, these are some of the best teeth I've seen on not just any dinosaur figure period, but even like some statues. So what's going on with the paint here is that the teeth here are actually, the teeth are made of like this like ever so slightly transparent white with a slight bit of like brown towards like the base of them. And it just looks really good. I have never seen a dinosaur figure do this, and this is just absolutely phenomenal. The teeth on this figure, like, it's such a minor detail, but like it's still kind of crazy because again, I have never seen a dinosaur figure do this like with the teeth here. So yeah, the teeth here are painted exquisitely. I just want to point that out. And that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. There we go. And the painting on this figure, yeah, the painting here is really good. If I had one complaint about not just the paint, but this figure overall, paint chipping is a bit of a serious problem here. Every time I move some of the joints on this figure, particularly like the joints in the legs, I always get these like tan flakes all over the place when I move them. So that's my one complaint. Everything else about the paint here is solid. The way it's applied is absolutely beautiful, but again, there's some paint chipping when you move some of the joints, and I don't know. I feel like that could have been handled a little better, but I digress. Still though, the painting on this figure is phenomenal, so the painting here definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the articulation, and the articulation on this figure I think is very solid. So of course, any dinosaur figure, the mouth always has to open and close like so, and I think the mouth opens up a pretty nice amount. It's not too wide like other companies, but I think that's perfect. We have a barbell joint at the base of the head here, another barbell joint, and another one. So the head, can go up like that and down that much, which I think is really cool. The mold does kind of break a little bit when you do that, but still, there is still really nice movement here. The arms, they can move forward about that far. I don't want to... That's as far as I'm willing to go. That's how, far I'm comfortable with. They can go backwards about that far. They probably can do a full 360, but I don't want to risk breaking this figure. There's a little bit of inwards and outwards movement here. The elbows can bend, and they are also on a swivel. The waist is on another barbell joint, so again, just a lot of nice movements here. The legs are on barbell joints as well, so they can kick backwards about that far and forward about that far. And they can move outwards like so. The knees can bend, but they are a little tight, so when you do get this figure, definitely heat up the joints. But the knees can bend. This joint here can bend as well. It is a little tight, but again, just take a hair blow dryer and just heat up the joints so that way they move more fluently. The toes here, or actually the ankles here, they can move like that. But again, they are a little tight. But going to the toes here, they can bend like so, which is honestly really cool. They didn't need to do this, but they did, and I do appreciate that. They can move upwards, which is totally fine, but we do have some articulation in the toes there. The tail here, we have a barbell joint, another barbell joint, yet another barbell joint, and one more barbell joint. Post-recording Zack here. So when I was showing off the articulation in the neck and in the tail, I only showed it being able to look up and down. But the thing is, this figure can also look side to side as well, really well. So yeah, just a lot of range in general. The torso can move side to side as well. Same with the tail, just all of the segments here can move side to side as well. So you can get some really cool curves in the tail. And also, one thing I want to say, no bendy wire. And I am really happy about that. Again, I've mentioned this before, I hate it when figures have bendy wires inside them because over time it's definitely going to snap. But here, there is none. And I'm really happy about that. So yeah, just wanted to point that out here because I forgot to in the video. So side to side at the tail, torso, and the neck/head. And that's really cool. And that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. And for what it is, I think it's really nice. Is it the most articulation I've seen on a figure? No. I've seen other figures that articulate way more than this, but still, for what it is, the articulation here is still very nice. So the articulation on this figure, I'd say definitely gets a pass. Now, as far as accessories go, we do get the support stand, which for the most part, I think is fine. I think it does a very solid job holding the figure up. Granted, you don't theoretically need this. It is possible to actually have the figure stand without this, but the fact that it is included is really nice, and I do really appreciate that. But yeah, no, this thing is designed like nicely. You know, the base here is nice. It says Nanmu Studio there. And there is some assembly required. Actually, like, assembly is just required in general. You do have to put everything together, like screwing everything in. But, you know, like the articulation here, it works nice. You know, it's nice and tight. It's tight enough to hold a figure at least, which is all anyone can ask for. The only thing that I think is weird is just this one curved piece of plastic. Why is it designed like this? I don't get this, right? This does a fine job holding the figure up, so I'm not complaining at all, but like, I don't know, to me this is just a little weird. You know, like Bandai, you know, they have like acrylic stands, and basically have like, you know, a claw where it's like two of these and they just close on, you could like hold on to a figure, where this is just like one curved piece of plastic. It's just, I don't understand why it's designed like this. Again, it holds the figure up fine nicely. I just think it's a little weird, but, you know, I digress. We don't just get one, though. We actually get two. And so, this one's basic, because, like, you know, it plugs into there, like, fine. You know, that's great. This one doesn't. You know, this one has, like, a hole for, like, a peg to go into. And so does this. So there's no real way to, like, plug that in. And also, yeah, this thing is not holding any figure up anytime soon, which is a shame. I did want to use this spare one for my Beast of the Mesozoic 1/35th scale T-Rex, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess. But at least one stand is working fine, so that's all you can really ask for. Now, we'll take a look at the Sculpt, and the Sculpt... Oh my god, it's beautiful! The sculpting on this figure is absolutely fantastic. The proportions look perfect. Nothing is too big or too small. And this looks scarily close to the original Jurassic Park T-Rex. There might be some things that are just ever so slightly off. And even with the paint, like, yeah, the painting, like, just going back to the painting really quick, like, it looks really good. But for what it is, there might be, like, some very minor things that are off compared to the original Jurassic Park T-Rex. But A, that's probably because of copyright issues. And B, even officially licensed Jurassic Park T-Rex figures, like, most of them are not really one-to-one with how the Jurassic Park T-Rex looked. So, honestly, anything that's, like, not entirely accurate on this figure, I think is totally fine. But, yeah, no, the sculpting on this figure is good. It's damn good. The sculpting on this figure definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the detailing. And the detailing on this figure is very good. So let's take a closer look. So, right off the bat, taking a look at the head here, we can see all the scales and all like the ridges and like the crest here and everything like that is detailed very nicely. Like everything here is just really nicely defined, and overall just a lot of really nice detailing here. And same with the inside of the mouth here. Again, just like all of like the gums and everything are just detailed very nicely here. I really do like the detailing here. Going down to the neck here, we have a lot of really nice wrinkles and whatnot, which again just looks really nice here. I really like the detailing here. Everything here is just very nicely defined. Just like a lot of really nice musculature and everything. It looks great. Going to the body here, again, just a lot of really nice scaling and just a lot of really nice, like, just wrinkles and folds and everything like that. And just all the detailing here, like on the underside here, is just really nice here. Everything just, like, pops exquisitely. You know, the arms here have a lot of really nice detailing here. Just all the musculature and everything here is just detailed very nicely. There is a noticeable seam here, but whatever. It's minor. Who cares? Everything else looks great. The detailing in the thighs here, again, just looks really nice here. Just a lot of really nice scaling, and just all the musculature and everything just looks really nice here. On the front of the, like, knees here. And even the scaling on the toes here are just really nicely detailed, and just, again, just a lot of really nice, like, wrinkles and scaling and everything like that. It just looks really nice here. Going to the tail, again, just a lot of really nice wrinkles and folds. And just a lot of really nice musculature here. Just looks really nice there. And the underside of the feet are going to have some bits of detailing as well. So, there you go. And that's pretty much it for the detailing. And the detailing on this figure is really good. Really, really good. Definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll do some size comparisons. To start, here we have the Jurassic Park Hammond Collection T-Rex. You know, when this figure came out, I really liked it. I thought it was a really nice figure. Unfortunately, it has not aged very well. Like, at all. This figure, it does have a lot of issues. For what it is, I still think it's a fine enough figure. But, yeah. I'm still hoping Mattel makes like a version 2.0 Hammond Collection T-Rex. That would be great, but only time will tell. Here we have another third-party Jurassic Park-esque T-Rex figure. Here we have the original Papo Brown T-Rex. And here we have almost like a precursor to this Nanmu figure. Here we have the Reveltech Lost World T-Rex. Now, and for a while, when I first got this figure, this was my definitive, like, Jurassic Park T-Rex figure, because I love the articulation here, but comparing this figure to this figure, all I'm going to say is you versus the guy she tells you not to worry about, because, wow, the glow-up is insane. And, of course, here we have some hand sanitizer, and here we have Dr. Billy Grant. So at the end of the day, should you get this figure? Now, I'm just going to rip that $sign-shaped Band-Aid right off and just say the price for this figure is a little steep. Before shipping, I paid a total of $120, which, yeah, that is a bit much, If the price tag of this figure is what's scaring you from, like, picking it up, I don't blame you, because even I was a little hesitant on getting this figure because of that price tag, but after biting the bullet, buying this figure, and actually, like, having it for a little over a week, how am I feeling? I am not exaggerating when I say this. This is genuinely one of the greatest Jurassic Park-esque T-Rex figures I've ever held in my life. This thing is phenomenal. All of the T-Rex figures that Mattel has been putting out lately, they're children's toys, and for what they are, I do think they are nice figures, and I will always love the original Kenner Jurassic Park T-Rex figures. I think, those just hold a very special place in my heart, but this figure is something else. The painting here is exquisite, the articulation is really good, the sculpt is phenomenal, the detailing here is sublime. This figure is as close to perfect as you can get. The only issue I have with this figure is the paint chipping. Every time you move the joints on this figure, there are, bits of, paint that just flake right off, and I wish they worked on that a little more, but still, this figure is absolutely fantastic, and I do recommend you pick this figure up. Run, don't walk to get this figure. And even for that high price tag, honestly, treat yourself. This thing is phenomenal. And if you don't like this version, like I mentioned at the start of the video, there is the other version that is based off of the male T-Rex that also looks really good. I don't know if I'll get it. I think I'm pretty happy with this version here, but still, there are options. And overall, yeah, this figure is phenomenal. And Nanmu, if you're watching this video, if you can make a Jurassic Park-esque Triceratops in this scale, in this line with the, same articulate like the Smart series, I will be forever in your debt. I would love that so much. Nanmu, please make a Jurassic Park Triceratops figure like this. Please, I am begging you. That being said, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Zack out.